All right, one other item before we do get into this. If you would mute your microphone um, before you speak or until you speak, that would help. That way we won't have any ambient noise. Okay, very good, appreciate it. All right, again, folks, welcome. We're going to talk about our webinar on submitting final grades. This is for short session 1. I know that's a pretty intense 8-week semester course, and we hope this information helps you out and gives you the information that you need. Okay. So we have the GoView work and we have the InGress work. You have your work in your course, and then you have your reporting to the BandWeb version of eCore and eCampus, eCore and eMajor. The important thing about this presentation is we'll take it one slide at a time, but it's really all about this one slide. So, about your grades, we need to, log into our course with our information. We go through and we look at all of our grades. We want to make sure that they are all proper. We want to make sure that the final average is calculated properly. For me as a faculty person, I do one person just to make sure that is correct. And then you want to calculate your final average. That is done automatically. And then you want to assign the final letter grade. So those are the essential things in your course. Now, after you do that, that's when you're going to report your grade. So you're going to go to your home, not your course home, but your GoView homepage, and you're going to see a link there. And what you're going to do is you're going to report the final letter grade in what is called InGress. Okay, that's an acronym for basically system-wide banner version for eCampus serving the faculty. Okay, and then you also want to talk about or include the last date of attendance, and you only do that with 2 exceptions, and that would be for a failing student or for an incomplete grade. We're going to unpack this entire slide as we go through this presentation. One other important item over here to the right, the deadline. So mark it on your calendar now, March the 6th at 12 o'clock noon, okay? And that is the deadline. So make note of that. All right, let's talk about GoView for a second. So we're familiar as we're working through the course and we're learning more about the course. We're going to select grades, and we are going to make sure that on our grade spreadsheet, we can see the grade and it's released to the student. That's what this little I means. It's released to the student. And that's what we want. May need to adjust the settings to make that so. This is a checklist. How do I know I'm doing it right? Well, here's a very straightforward checklist to follow. Number 1, grades are important to students, and we want to make sure that that is consistent with your syllabus. Number 2, we want to make sure that in our grade book, our percentages all add up to 100%. That may seem like a given here, but that can be it could be a problem with someone's course that hasn't really studied that out and paid attention to that. So please, just to verify that the percentages all add up to 100%. You want to remove unused grade items. For example, some people use the midterm letter grade report and some people don't. You want to eliminate, you want to delete that grade item. Let's just say that you are dropping for some reason quiz 1. Well, you want to delete that entire item. Okay, you want to remove them so that the student is assured that the grades they see are the grades that are going to be included in the calculation. All right, some of the grades in your gradebook have a little icon next to them, and all that means is, for example, over here, that particular grade was a discussion, or that grade was a quiz, or that grade was a Dropbox, okay? That linking icon tool is there to help you. It's really just a reminder. Okay, the next checklist item is very, very important. If a student hasn't done the work, the student should get a 0. If you had some other policy, you're going to have already implemented that in the operation of your course. I put zeros in way before the deadline. I pretty much do them during the operation as the weeks unfold. But be that as it may, when you get to the end, make sure there are no blanks. If there's a blank, it should mean a 0. So be mindful of that. And then review all red columns. All red columns. That's an indication that the grade is very, very low. Please do that. Okay. We're continuing with the checklist. The next item is review for missing proctored exams. Obviously, we probably did that as we got through with the midterm and the final exam, but that's a good reminder. And remember, no blanks, a 0 for a blank. All right, then you want to release the final grade to the student. So if you have not set this up in your course, then the default is not releasing the grade to the student, which means, let me point this out over here with my pointer. This little icon is going to be an eye with a cross through it, okay, rather than the eye that is open. So in order to do this, we need to go through this procedure, is where you find the final grade, you select all with this little tool, you click release, and then you save that setting, and that way the students will be able to see your their final grade. Also, if you're having trouble seeing the numbers here, there's a separate video that you could use to release to be able to see that grade. That video is found in the right here, which we have developed to help the faculty out with some video how-to procedures. All right, and then the last step after you release the final grade to the student, and now there's a word here that says adjusted grade. So some professors like to adjust the grade somewhat, and so you need to make sure that you do your homework on that adjustment procedure and complete that properly. All right, now we're down to you're close to being done. You're going to convert your number grade to a letter grade and just simply place it in that last column. It's a pretty straightforward procedure, but a very important one, as you know. So that's very important 3 points on your checklist. Okay, and another item we need to talk about is finding the last date of attendance. If you're in a USG school, you probably are doing this already, so this you're already familiar with this, but let me go through this. All right, so let's say that a student has an F, and the requirement is you need to submit along with the letter F, you need to supply the last date of attendance. You're going to go to your communication class list. You're going to see the list of your students, and then you're going to see this last accessed date. Please make note of that date, okay? And remember, you do this for students that are failed or incompletes. All right, so we're at 6 of 16 slides. I want to pause here and see if Ashley wants to insert anything, or if Dr. Fasel would like to add something to our presentation thus far.
Nothing to add from me so far.
Okay. All right, let's continue. Now we have done our GoView work. Let's go into InGress. We're going to use the faculty console, and remember, we're going to go to our not our course home, but my home, okay? And we're going to notice on the left side this portal. So we're going to click that. Okay, so you probably have already seen this with your attendance verification, but let's go through this. You're going to select the semester and the course. You probably just have one course there. Most of you will. And we are not going to use midterm. We're going to use the final grades. All right. So again, we're noticing final grades is our focus for this particular task. And I would consider this one of the top 5 tasks that you do as a faculty member. Okay. All right. So again, the rosters there for you to see different categories of information for the students. And also notice there's 3 colors. We have the black, we have the red, we have the purple. The red is a student that has dropped the class, and the purple is a student who has withdrawn. Okay. How do you do the final grade? Well, we click the final grades tab, and there's a slight procedure for E-Core, E-Major. Let's talk about E-Core for a second. So in this spot where it has, notice we have 3 different types of people here. We have a dropped, a withdrawn, and we have a regular registered student. So for the regular registered student, we're going to put A, B, C, D, F, okay, or I. And here's your directions for E-Major. There may be another category, satisfactory or unsatisfactory, okay? All right, so we got that. We looked at our black, this particular middle student here. We got the grade in there, no problem. Now, what if we have a student that dropped? Student that dropped, we just leave that drop-down box to no grade. Okay. The only additional piece of information is, what if the student received an F? Okay, so let's look at the next slide, or incomplete, okay? I'm gonna have to go back here. If the student received F or incomplete, that is where we're going to select this and put in that last date of attendance. And it's very easy to do. It's very easy to navigate Dropbox. It has a calendar in there. All you got to do is select it. All right, so let's say you've worked through all your students. Okay, we have a comment.
On the previous slide, if you are considering assigning a grade of incomplete for a student, just remember that once you assign that grade of I, you do need to also go into SEEDS, the faculty portal, and complete an incomplete form for the student. And what that form does is it gives us some extra information about the assignments that a student needs to complete and the deadline that you have agreed upon with the student, so that we can make sure that the student retains access to the course. If that deadline is far enough out, we may need to make a course copy to be sure that the student can access through that deadline. So that's why that form is so important, above and beyond just assigning the grade of I. And if you do have any questions about completing that incomplete form, or you need any assistance with SEEDS, logging in, anything like that, you can let us know, and we can definitely assist you with that. So I just wanted to add that in if you do decide to assign the incomplete grade.
All right, thank you. That was very helpful information. Okay, so now you're getting close. You've got most of your students in. There's 1 or 2 students that has an issue with finishing up something, so you do not want to submit. You want to just simply complete your reporting. But if you are done, you have all your students that are, you've got your grade in there, you checked it 2 or 3 times like every good professor will do, you're ready to submit. So let's go through this. Your 2 choices are save for later, okay, which is fine. But you will have to come back and put the information in and submit. So it's very important, if you hit that, make yourself a note somewhere to go back and finish that. Or all your students got their grades, you put it in there, you're good to go, you're going to hit submit. So once you hit submit, it's a serious decision. There is no going back. So please be mindful of that. All right, so let's say I'm ready to hit submit. I hit submit, and all of a sudden I get a red warning, okay? And what happened is I thought I selected the grade for everybody, but I didn't, and it's telling you about this person here, Water, that I need to go back and include that information. All right. Now, if you hit continue from there, it will lock all your grades. So I would just make sure you adjust any warnings, and then you'll be okay. All right. So you're going to submit your grades, and then you see the screen. We call this at eCampus the golden lock. And once you see the golden lock, you know that you have successfully completed this particular task and you are good to go. My advice on our advice, and when you get close to this end, that you can view your submitting grades. You'll see them in a little spreadsheet here, and then you could download them. So there's an opportunity. You'll see this at the bottom left or bottom right of your roster. You'll see a download button. I would click it and then download those grades and save it to your computer. I would highly recommend doing that. All right. So let's say that for some reason you submitted your grades and you thought you had that done perfectly, but an event happened with a student and they contact you and you realize that maybe you made a mistake or maybe they made a mistake and you need to change your grade. Well, the good news is you can do this, but there is a procedure for this. So you're going to go into Seeds like Ashley was talking about, and you're going to look at the possible forms you have here, and you're going to use either a final grade change, as we have right here, or you're going to submit an incomplete grade. And Ashley was trying to remind us all that incomplete grade is really an important item to select if needed, so that way it triggers a proper response to help the student complete the course. Okay, so again, if you need to make that adjustment, you go into your Seeds portal and then you make the select a grade change form or an incomplete form. All right, let's say I got one more slide. Okay, you may be in the middle of this process and have a quick question. You didn't get it answered in the session or something came up. Please use this email. We have all moved to this efaculty@wesca.edu as the main customer service for the faculty. We want you to feel very comfortable in using that. A reminder that the deadline for submitting the final grades in InGress, that's your final reporting, is Monday, March the 6th at 12 o'clock noon. Okay, let's pause here for some comment or questions. Okay, Dr. Klubal.
Yes, I got bumped out a minute ago from the session. When you changed the grade availability, can you go back to that slide where you changed it where students could see it with the eye? I mean, I lost the audio and the video on that for a second, for a minute or so.
Okay, that is not a problem. Okay, let me do this. Hold on, let me kind of stop the official recording.